Hi, I'm Tamara Griffin with The Athletic. Can you offer sort of like a year in review as you prepare for this last game of the calendar year? It started, of course, with Brazil, She Believes. There's been a lot of experimentation, a lot of new faces coming into camp, a lot of people who've been standing out, making cases for themselves. How are you sort of reflecting on this year?
Well, to start with, we've been through that exercise with staff and players, but rather than it be a review, it's things we're proud of. And all of those things can vary from, elevating our tactical play to creating an environment where people can be themselves and belong, to a growth mindset environment, to a collaborative, interdisciplinary environment. We looked at some of the highlights of the year, and some of those did it in sort of photograph format. Some of them being, we had a great picture of the Futures camp, and obviously I've got players sat in the room, and we pinpointed those players and said, look what the last 10 months have produced. And I am certain that without that, we might not have accelerated some of their development as quickly, because it's quite hard to learn the playing pool. For me, the She Believes, I think that first game against Brazil at SoFi, real highlight. I've been very clear on the process to develop players and what you have to go through. So I'm not zoomed in on 3 losses. If I was, I wouldn't make changes if I played to just win. So I think that was a real highlight. I think Canada game, again, another step in the right direction for us. Importantly, the recovery against Portugal and the importance of how we have to quickly get back into national team duty, especially with a big break. That's the first time we've had to deal with such a big break. I think the adaptations tactically from one game to the next, and then getting the volume of players to be able to comprehend that and apply it. I'm really intentional about, I don't coach 11, we coach all 26, and not coach all 26 to play as us. And sometimes there's always a healthy tension between trying to manage the result that week and long-term development. I think for us internally, the gold print strategy, which is an actionable framework to develop winning teams. I think the joined-up approach from seniors, 23s, 20s in particular, my relationship with Tracy Kevins to get that right, and the hiring of Heather Dyche and Vicky Jepson. There's loads, to be honest with you, to working with I've got this man next to me. We work in an environment we're really proud of. It's a very inclusive environment, diverse environment, and all of these things contribute to the culture that hopefully leads to long-term success for the team.
How's that?
Comprehensive.
Let's go to Bob up front here.
Thanks. Hi, Bob Williams from FIFA.com. I just want to ask you about the FIFA Women's Champions Cup, which is this new club tournament that starts in the new year.
Yeah.
Clubs from all around the world, including Arsenal, Gotham, quite a few of your players are taking part. I was just wondering what your thoughts are on how competitions like this can help grow the women's game. Obviously, the international game is huge, but now the club game is growing globally as well.
Yeah, I think I've always been, being a club coach, I remember the importance of, international competition even at the club level. So I think it adds another string to the players' bow to play something other than just, a team within a smaller region. I think we know there's growth in the calendar, but we have to embrace that. I've said this many times over. We have to create squad sizes and the quality and depth within squads to be able to cope with the demands of the game. And yes, we don't want it to get to ridiculous levels, but I still think if you compare the number of games in the women's game compared to the men's game. There's a considerable drop-off. And I believe in the diversity of opponents. So I think it's a great competition. And yes, having a lot of players in that will be really good to see how they perform at that stage.
Anybody else in the room before I go to, yeah. Actually, before you go, just a quick housekeeping note. As we are not training in the stadium, but we're training at the training fields, our mix zone is going to be over there. So after we're done, everyone just walk out these doors, get into the shuttles. We're going to shuttle you over for quickness and weather, and then we'll do the mix zone like inside the gym there. Cool? Cool. Please go ahead.
Hi, Lexus with Fort Lauderdale United. So kind of what you mentioned in the previous questions as well, you have a bit of new players on the roster. So with the momentum from the victory over Italy in Orlando, do you see this as an opportunity to test more of the newer talents on the roster and assess their fit within the system?
I'm going to continue doing what we plan to do this year, which is to create opportunities for players. I think it's fair to say that my whole argument is that no matter who plays, the level of performance should still be high, and granted, to build connections, keeping teams together for more games might make that even more cohesive. But I think we demonstrated the other night, I'm doing that, across the course of the year instead of just across the course of the camp. And I think as we keep developing, it is important for me to have the combinations of both, not a wholesale 11 change, but changes to the team so that I can keep seeing if players where they are within the grand scheme of things.
I think it's important to note that Emma's given 27 debuts since she came aboard and 16 this year alone, which, if you see our social media, is the most in a calendar year since the very first year of the program.
Yeah.
That was 40 years ago. All right, let's go online. Pardeep, you're up.
Hi, Emma. Thank you for the time, and also thank you for mentioning how many players just received their debuts under Emma, because that was where I wanted to go with my question. I know that has been a priority for you. That's something that you have never hidden from any of us. But I'm just, in the theme of looking back at the year and really at your time with this national team so far, I'm curious, what has it been like actually meeting that many players and working with all of them and, introducing your ideas to them? Again, it's such a big group of players. And has anything about this experience pleasantly surprised you in terms of expanding and looking at the player pool?
First of all, there's a team of people behind me, really competent people that are, if you knew how our system worked in the background, it is so comprehensive. Whether that's onboarding people, whether that's bringing people up to speed with the tactical developments, whether you are first time into camp, second time, third, multiple times, whether you are a pregnant player at home, whether you are a long-term injured player at home. We've created a system to keep that development going both online and in person with a team of people that deliver on that. And they can deliver on that because the model's clear. So it doesn't require one unicorn leader to do it. It's lots of people that help deliver that. Second of all, I think the players are supported to be able to keep their development. So often in coaching environments, it's all the head coach and maybe the assistant. I'm all about a team being able to deliver those insights. So the players can go to any one of my staff if they want to do clips or they want a check-in opportunity during camp. I think that's a strength of ours. And I think I like meeting people anyway, but I like the journeys of each of the players. And I especially like to hear when they come in, if they've had their first camp, how it made them feel, especially with so much nervousness that comes with it. I think we pride ourselves on creating an environment where people can thrive, but also, as Fiona teaches me all the time, you've got to have a high challenge, you've got to have a high support. And so I think I'm really proud of that. And, I love the girls, all of them.
Thanks, Pardeep. Jonathan Tannenwald, go ahead.
Thanks, Aaron. Hi, Emma.
Hey.
I saw that a few of your players were in attendance at the stadium last night, and I couldn't quite tell from the TV broadcast whether you were also there. So I'm curious as to whether you were and what it's like when you get to watch a game where it's not your own players, you're not scouting somebody else, you just get to sit back and watch somebody else play. What do you take from something like that?
Well, I can tell you that she wasn't there because she had a date at the mall for her to complete all of her Christmas shopping, which I think she did. I'm not sure, but she can answer the question in general when she goes to a match in which she's not involved.
Love it, like the NWSL Championship. Like, I know, of course, I'm neutral, but I was jumping up and down when Rose scored because the result's not on me. She's one of our players, and I'm especially proud of that. And while I really wanted to go to the game yesterday, there's certain presents you can buy in America that you can't buy in England. And if I don't get them, then I'm not presenting something uniquely different to Harry. So I've got to keep up with that.
You know, I'm looking at the chair, and it looks like you're in a Star Wars fighter a little bit, a little X-Wing fighter action there.
Well, he won't be watching the press conference, so I can safely say he's got a few different Rebel planes that you cannot get in England. So I'm getting him things, obviously from the US, that I know that are uniquely different.
And he got a Messi jersey.
And he definitely got a Messi jersey.
Hopefully he's not on YouTube after this, watching this. Before we finish, I just want to acknowledge head coach of Fort Lauderdale United, Ali Rogers, is here. And Emma is obviously a huge proponent of females in coaching and young women in coaching. And because of that, we're going to bring Ali up to the dais right now. Come on up and sit with Emma. And she's going to have a few words about young women in coaching.
Well, we didn't want to we didn't want to give you a heads up on it.
Oh my goodness, no heads up at all.
So, you know, what's motivated you to become a coach?
Honestly, to simply put, there's not many female coaches. And so I wanted to be that reason as to why. I was a professional athlete myself, but you don't see many female coaches in the grand scheme of things. And so definitely want to be that face and change the game ultimately as well.
Well, with that in mind then, what do you need to be supported to make sure you stay in the game?
Just being around really good people, which I'm at Fort Lauderdale United. So I feel like I'm being really good, really well supported right now, and then getting opportunities like this.
You got any questions for Ali, anyone?
Hi. Do I need the mic? I'm okay.
You're good.
Okay. I'm Tamara Griffin. I'm with The Athletic, and I am going to be working on a story about Fort Lauderdale, so this is perfect for me. I sort of came into the team because there were players that I followed in the NCAA who now play for Fort Lauderdale. There are players in the NWSL who've been sent to Fort Lauderdale on loan.
Yep.
But I'm also curious, so I've come into it sort of roundabout, but what is it about clubs like Fort Lauderdale, and I would include Dallas Trinity in this conversation too, that sort of seem to at least set them apart from other teams in the USL in terms of how they develop players, and sort of how do you see this team's space in the growing landscape of women's soccer in the U.S.?
Yeah, no, the USL is bringing so many great opportunities for young women, which I feel like it's rightfully deserved, but we look at everything. Like, experience definitely does matter, but at the end of the day, we have some really good academy players within our landscape, but also some really talented mid-major products, and then as well as NWSL loans who've done a phenomenal job for us. And so we're kind of encompassing to all walks of life within the sport and then bringing them along, and then within our ideology and how we want to play and development within Fort Lauderdale United, just kind of wherever you come from, we can give you a step in the right direction in your individual development, which will collectively help our team development at Fort Lauderdale United.
You have to see it to be it. I say this all of the time. We need to keep females in the game, not just get them in the game, but keep them in the game. And that challenge for all clubs, no matter where you are, is thinking about how we best do that, because this should be the norm. It's important for our girls, our women, to have female role models in coaching. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Right there in the middle. Looks good. And 1, 2, 3. Great.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Seriously.
Good luck with
Oh,
it.
I really appreciate it.
Okay,
Thank you.
seriously,
Thank
good
you,
luck
thank you.
with it.
Thank you.
All right.
We're doing one with that.
One with the front too. Yeah. Just flip her around there too.
No problem.